Welcome to episode 11, the Datsun Restore project. Amber's gonna help me this time, right? Amber? Maybe not. Welcome to episode 11 of the Datsun Restore / Resto mod. In this episode, we yanked the engine and tranny to fix the timing chain, get that sorted out, and I just found the original timing marker in a box after I just bought one of these not too long ago, and it's got confusing with all those marks. So now I got the original marking. So I saw that back on eBay where I got it. Just need to figure out the distributor, but yeah, I think I got the timing incorrectly. This episode is also about the rear wheel spacers and the wheels. Trying to figure out that madness. I don't paint them in this episode. Don't look at that, but I figure out some stuff about them that I couldn't read anywhere else, like the fact that they're, well, actually I don't go into that in this episode. It's in another episode. But yeah, the engine's out, do a couple of mods to it, getting it ready to start. Did some wheel stuff, and then I get into the wheel spacers on the back, the wheels, and I think the lug studs. We start on the lug studs, the rear. Upgrade from 7/16 to 12mm. Start of that. It's coming out. Training all. Will it clear the jack down there? I think it will. That was not painted yet. You're supposed to get that over that lip. Where's my lip? You want to go this way. That's as far as she goes. Oh yeah. She's stuck. I'm going down and forward. Note to self, take that stupid shifter thing off. Oh, there we go. Now it's cleared. He's out. Scratch, scratch. I don't really want to put this training in separately. That's scratching the paint and everything. Oh my god, I just noticed about the kayaks. Funny thing, stupid engine in the way. Should raise me. Well, it's maxed out, so I'm going to go higher. Stupid. It's not a good place to be. Nah. Do not like this training mount design. It's the weirdest stuff ever. Clear. Oh, no, I hit another kayak. my god, really? Those drills hitting. Stupid tool is not wanting to twist. Ratchet. Seriously, everything, get out of the way. Okay, we are clear. Clear. Whew, like the worst engine removal I've ever done. This was loose. This was tight. I've never seen one of these weird trains before. The hell was that, a rock? The train is actually pretty dry on the top. I don't know where all this oil's come from. That needs a little paint. This is how my L18 was. Just had a stud here. But that was after the engine blew up. I did have a tag here for a while. And then somebody told me it was not supposed to be a tag, it was supposed to be a pin. But I've ordered one for over here, so let's take this apart and see where the chain really is. I think I might put this on the engine stand. Oh, that means I'll pull the training off. Oh boy, should I put it on the engine stand? Maybe I should inspect the clutch anyways while I got it out. Might as well take it all apart before I start driving this thing. Here's something I've never seen before. Timing chain with no marks. It's got no shiny links, no dark links. Can't seem to find a link that's different. Twice. So, I'm not sure how you count these things. Trying to find something on the internet. See two links that are different. I'm gonna clean these things better. So I've just turned the the crank over to point up. Mark on this block. Nice if there's a mark on the block. I don't see one on that crank cover. But it was about 100 degrees out of phase. When the head was at top dead center, the crank was over here. So just turn that. Okay, that's on number one. You can now see. You can see the mark now. Yeah, it's not lined up yet. Yeah, turn that just a okay. There's my current setup. Whoops. I got the R50 box. Start making a bracket. So this works, but this is bad. I moved the rack up and back, and now I have bump steer. So this is a bad position. I need to put it back. I think it was in the center, and it was below this bar to get rid of the bump steer. But before I do that, I'm going to try to clock the rack, and I'm going to go back to the original idea of just, does this come off? That comes off. I bought another one of these Miata things. I chopped up the last one. I'll put that on there, and put the other Miata thing on, and move this over, and I try to aim it up there. I'm going to have to cut the firewall again. Oh, let me take all this stuff off. Alright, so I've cut that notch bigger, chopped off the steering yoke, taken out the cross member, dropped the rack. I went ahead and built a new cross member, just so I can leave this one as is for reference. I've knocked off the mounts. Can't find any more of these. I've looked on eBay, looked at the junkyard. I gotta fix this one that I cut the ear off, which I don't need to be cut off anymore. Ground down all the welds. Went ahead and made a new set of these, so I can mount them here and there. I'm gonna raise the rack So these actually raised the rack up, I think, too much, or lowered it down. Yeah, raised it up. So I'm gonna basically put these on to lower it back down. And I can still move the rack forward or back. I think I'm gonna lower it down 1/2 inch here, and lower it down this much. And then I'm gonna clock the rack so that I can aim at the box. So that'll be tomorrow. I actually found some exhaust clamps finally. Found these stainless, they're actually motorcycle / tractor 1.5 inch outside diameter clamps to put the exhaust back together because I cut it in half. Okay, the service manual says there's 42 links. When they say links, I think they mean pins. I just counted. There's not physical links. It's just the pins. So let's see if we can mark the chain. But this is from the factory service manual. My chain has no marks. Okay, so I think I figured this out. Stupid new chain has no markings on it. It's an L16. So I think it keeps reading as 42 links, but it really means 42 pins. So I'm counting, I went ahead and took a Scotch-Brite and marked one link. That's one link, and then there's 20 in between. And so I count 42 pins, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 42 down here. So there's 20 links in between, 42 pins between, because this will be the dot, right? There'll be a dot here on the cam, and a dot here on the crank. So I think that's the right time. I was gonna buy another chain for 15 bucks, but I looked at the picture on Rock Auto, and I don't see any shiny marks, so I don't think they do that on some of these chains. Okay, the next issue is get the cam set up correctly. And you can see that that notch is not top dead center. It's got to line up with that retaining plate notch. So now I got to find the bolt, put it back in, and turn the cam just a little bit. I don't think so. Got to find a tool. Okay, this is the front of the cam gear. There's position 1, right? So that means we're going to use hole number 1. So there's an access hole here to the back. You see there's 3 holes? There's marks. The problem I had, when I was looking through this little hole, I couldn't see that little teeny indentation. So what I just did is I scribed it. You can make it out. Okay, hopefully you can see. I finally got it lined up. Took a few tries. Back and forth, put the nut in. So now turn the crank. Set the mark, the woodruff key is up, and the marking is on the down here on the side. So now I'm ready to put the chain on. I've taken off the guide. Let me put on the chain. Okay, now I can actually put on my chain. So I just put on my chain, got it on the mark, on the bottom here. Okay, I can't put it on the bottom. On the bottom first, maybe. Where's my link? Oh, that's the wrong link. Okay. Got a lot of belts, but I haven't done a chain in a long time. I got it on that bottom mark. I don't know if I get on this top mark with it on. Now I probably got to take that gear back off. Probably. The mark is lining up though, that's a good sign. I'm on one ring. Okay, let's take that bolt back off. Hope that doesn't move. There we go. Now I got that back on. Put that back on number 1. Okay, we're on the mark. Oh, it's pretty loose. That doesn't look good. I'm not on the right one. Let me go down a link. Oh, it's tight. And is it on? No. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so tight it won't go on. I think this is a brand new chain. Yeah, it's tight. It will not go on. Oh, that makes too much now. I don't have to get the link on. Let's see. Okay, now we're on the mark. On the crank. So now I can actually turn it back. But I can't. Is it on? Okay, so what I did is I just put a crowbar into one tooth. I was able to get that line back up again, I think. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Now I got, hopefully I still got the marks on. Yeah, I think we're on. Yeah, we're on that mark. On that mark. Okay. So now I just gotta figure out how to get this tensioner back on. Ah, yeah, now it goes on. Now everything's happy. I just think I haven't done this since 1989, 1988 or something. Probably the last time I did an L series maybe. When did I rebuild the 280ZX? That was a long time ago. Okay, yeah, this chain must be new. It's tight. Now I just need the tensioner. There's no gasket or anything under this. I remember. There's a little. I know Nismo makes one that has a retainer built in, which is pretty cool. I always wanted to get one of those Nismo ones. Got a picture on the wall over there. Never seen one in real life, I've only seen it in magazines. Yeah, the Nismo retainer has a little clip, so this cannot fall off. And I think okay, finally got it. It's kind of a pain. Finally got to the crank. It's still on the mark. It's kind of hard to see, but it's there. The point's still up. And then this one is still on the mark. And then that's still on the mark. Yeah, it was hard to get that tensioner on, because if I had any slack in here, there was no way this was going on, but I finally got it on. That was not easy. This chain must be brand new, like I thought. So now I can put the adjuster on here, thingamajiggy. Then we can put the cover on. Actually, I don't need to put the cover on. Oh, now I gotta take the harmonic bouncer off. Okay, so now I'm just putting the, I'm not gonna put the cover on. Put the harmonic bouncer back on. Slides on. And I just bought another tag, just like I did for my L18. Now what are we on? It's kind of weird numbers. The big notch looks like it's on the 10. Actually, just looks like it's one about 8. Oh, this bolt's not even tight, but so none of those marks really line up to anything to me. So let's see, I think that's 0. I don't have to look in the book and see it. The big one I think is 0, maybe, I'm guessing. But 0's over here. So anyways, that's top dead center, I guess. Well, maybe I need to turn the crank until it lines up, but then the cam will be out of top dead center. Anyways, well, that's top dead center. So remember that. This is what I want to put on. I just put a bolt in that hole because that's what somebody told me to do back in the 80s. I put a mark. I had no mark on my L18. So we put that kind of tag on there, and I ended up blowing the compression ring in all 4 pistons and put a hole in 2 pistons. They said the timing was off, so rebuild the engine a second time. And we put this mark on here, somebody told me. This is just a bolt, just like a tag. So I'm really curious what this lines up with. I guess we throw that on and see what that lines up. Okay, so I just put the cover on. I got the mark. So the mark looks like it lines up around 5 degrees before top dead center, whatever that means. Let's put the balancer on. See what this is. Oh wow, look at that. Almost lines up for the fat mark. Just a hair off. That's probably me just off. Can't see that mark in there. Yeah, that mark is a little bit to the right. That means it's a little bit too much that way. So that would be the opposite way of that. I don't know, I guess that's top dead center. That's pretty close. It's only like, but each one of those is 5. It's only like 2.5 degrees off. So I guess it's safe to say that dent is top dead center. Plus or minus 3 degrees. This mark here is nowhere near, so this tag is probably not helping me. That's confusing me. So if that's top dead center, I don't know, I have to think about this. Okay, so I'm trying to mock up, figure out what size wheel spacers I could fit in this thing. So I just put a 2-inch block behind the wheel, lower the truck down. It's lower than it will be, just to see how much clearance I have. Nice to have clearance in here, just a little bit. Then again, it's not sitting flush against the blocks. There's another 1/4 inch there. So I think I can handle a 2-inch spacer with these tires with no rubbing. So let's get that ordered so we can get the wheels back on. I think a 1-inch spacer would actually clear these calipers, but it was pretty tight and I couldn't get an accurate. I need to get some long bolts and mock it up, but I don't really care. I think 2-inch will work. Hopefully, maybe I'll just order 2, just in case I can't do math. I'm still trying to figure out if these are Datsun wheels. No, I think these are not Datsun wheels. They do have the 6 things though. Oh, these don't have the lugs in the right place. Are these Datsun wheels or not Datsun wheels? Shoot, maybe I should be using the right wheels. So those have the lug. Shit, I don't know if these are Datsun wheels or these are Datsun wheels. Are these Datsun wheels? They got the little bumps. I wish it said something on here. I don't have any good photos of my old truck. I know I painted it black. That's all I remember. Oh, I remember Mike talking about these big old lugs that these rub. So I think these are the Datsun wheels. Let's see if I can find a logo. There's a weird little tab here. Does that mean something? Oh, that's across from the valve stem. That's probably to counterbalance the out of balanceness. I'm assuming these are Datsun wheels. And these nubs in the right place. And that other wheel is not. Or it's from the wrong year if it is a Datsun wheel. So I think I'm going to try to buy 2 more of these wheels. 1 for a spare, or at least 1 more. Okay, so you center the tie rod. The stock steering is right there. You can see that there's a crazy angle. It's not straight at all, which makes sense. Cycle the steering. Oh, it just swings back and forth. A little bit different than a tie rod. So the question is, so when you're going down the road, tie rod is like right here. So now I can move the sway bar, now that I fixed that. I'm going to put a little notch right there so I know. Alright, so I just bought some hard body rear lug studs. 320 port number. And here's the 521 5/16 bolts. So I just measured them. I read they're a 13 millimeter spline, but they're actually, if you go to, it's actually exactly a 1/2 inch or a 1/2 inch, 0.90, whatever. If you can see that. So it's, if you click on 1/2 inch drill bit. So I think I've drilled these before and put a 1/2 inch in before. These are the 5/16. Oh, 7, sorry. Whoops. Oh, that's just 7/16. Shank is 5/16. 7/16. 7/16. 7/16. There we go. So the weird thing about these, the D21 versus the hard body, the D21 rear and the 521 rear. I don't know what the fronts look like. Probably the same. They got the head cut off so they don't spin. I guess because they don't have splines. Because they didn't have spline technology back then. So instead of having splines, they cut the head off. So now the trick is cut the head off of this one and drill out the hole to 1/2 inch. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I just took off that with a bandsaw. And it's actually a little bit more. I just put it in the bandsaw this way and just ripped out the head. So I got off a little bit more than I need. I'm assuming I need that clearance. I haven't even looked yet. So now, because these heads are basically the same size, so now I've got rid of more than I need. In theory, it'll fit.